Hey everyone, it's Traceface. I wanted to come on today. I was kind of rushed in yesterday's video because I had to take a client, and there was so much more I wanted to say, but the first thing I want to say is, once again, I just really want to thank you, Pete, for the timing of your email. I can't stress to you enough. I literally was sitting on so many things that I was thinking about doing in terms of certain things that were said to me this week and how I could react or respond, or maybe just let it go, or what. But it was bothering me for a lot of reasons, and I'm going to get into that in this video in a minute. But God always has a way of saying, you don't have to say anything. You really actually don't have to say anything, because I'll take care of that for you. And Pete, you sure were in line with that this week. So once again, I emailed Pete to see if maybe he would be interested in telling a story. But Pete, no pressure at all, because I know it's really hard, and you got a story to tell there, and that's not easy for everyone to do, and you've already done enough for me and my channel. And you getting the help you deserve was more important to me than anything. But I do have another client that is willing to tell his story, and he will be doing that with me next month. He would like to just go strictly audio because of, privacy reasons. So, but be on the lookout for that, because it's a great perspective for a lot of my male subscribers out there and people that are out there suffering, and for women too, to understand how this happens with men in the same regard as it's happened to you. It's good to hear. So having said all that, I'm trying to tie in a lot of different things that were on my mind. This whole notion of codependency and narcissism has been on my mind for a long time. So narcissists, trying to get my cat, but he's being really crazy this morning. Narcissists, when you have been around a narcissist for a long time, or an unhealthy individual, a chaotic individual with really unhealthy, bad behaviors, oftentimes what can end up happening is you can turn into what some have coined as codependent. Okay, but if we're going to take all the labels off of all this for a minute, let me just explain it to you the way I know best. If you have been subject to an abusive home environment where you were raised, or perhaps you got involved with a very unhealthy, toxic individual, intimately, you had a relationship with them, or you worked for a very unhealthy, toxic boss for a long period of time. And it doesn't even have to be that long of a period of time for these people to do damage. So oftentimes what can happen is you start to inherit some toxic traits yourself. And this is something I had to look at myself long and hard for in order for me to truly understand how it works, and something that I want to talk to all of you about today. Now, you're going to go on many different channels, and you're going to hear about codependency explained in so many different ways that people have their idea of what it is and what it means to them. So again, let me try to take the labels out and stick to the actual behaviors that I'm talking about, so you can all understand, which is something that I still have to understand and work at often. So when you've been around, again, when you have been around people that have these bad behaviors and are doing bad things behind your back, or having smear campaigns behind your back, or obviously we know what happens with narcissistic abusers in intimate relationships. Sometimes for coping mechanisms, many of you stop hearing your own voice. You don't have a voice anymore. You're not getting the validation you need. Oftentimes you're getting neglected and abandoned, and you're being told to doubt yourself. This is where these people come in to gaslight you. These people will come in and tell you that you're wrong all the time, that your opinion is horse crap, and that their opinion is be all end all opinion of things. They you know, a lot of times these people discredit you. They make you feel bad about yourself. They put you down in subtle ways that you don't even realize, until all of a sudden you've now taken on some ways that you're coping with all of it. And a lot of times it's things such as you're doubting yourself. You don't even trust your own opinion. You are seeking validation from the wrong people. I've seen a lot of times where people get out of these toxic, intimate relationships, and they're still putzing around or keeping friends in their circle that are not healthy or good people. But because the friend makes you feel good about yourself, you're just all of a sudden, you know, you're just forgetting some of their bad character. All right? They're being sneaky behind their husband or wife's back, and they're telling you about it. But because they make you feel good about yourself, oh, that's my good friend. My good friend makes me feel so good about myself. I'm gonna forget all the other stuff that they're doing. This is a major trait that I noticed I had to look at. You know, when I first decided to get rid of one of the catalysts in my life of narcissism, the major narcissist in my life, then I started to take a look at everybody around me. All the friends I thought were in my corner and good people. They weren't good people. They were just giving me false validation. When I actually look at who they were as individuals, their character was bad. They were the same type of thing going on. And you want to know what? My theory on people that hide information, that are sneaky, that you know, puff you up, make you feel good, but they're doing all these other things on the side. Be a matter of time, mark my words, before they're going to do that with you. Why would you ever want to keep people like that in your life if they're coming to you and telling you that they are being sneaky and doing sneaky things? Just a matter of time, guys, before you're next. Even if you're right now you're their best friend, right? So that's one thing I noticed, that in a lot, you know, a lot of you aren't realizing that you're doing it. It's because you are still seeking that validation that you didn't get. And here's where the self-doubt comes in, okay? This is where I see a lot of times, I was doing this. I still struggle with this sometimes. Looking for everybody else's opinion before I can draw my own, or before I can trust my own. I can remember a time I'd have to go to every single person in my life if I was to make a major decision and ask them what they thought about it. And I'm talking decisions that shouldn't be in anybody else's hands, ever. But at the time, that's what I thought I was supposed to do. I thought I was supposed to, you know, get all those opinions because I didn't at the time trust my own. Maybe I didn't even know what my own opinion was, because I was still trying to find myself all over again after being around toxic abusers. So that's another trait. Constantly doubting yourself. Now, another one I've picked up on that people tend to do is they tend to be too trusting still of people too soon. This is another codependent type, or reactive to, or after effects, I should say, aftermath of narcissistic abuse, is still being too trusting of people. And I think this is that part that we are still looking again for, that piece of, hey, here's my heart. can I have yours? Hey, I got nothing to hide. I wear my heart on my sleeve. So if I'm doing that, maybe you'll be more prone to not hurt me. And it's just the wrong way of thinking. And it took me years and years and years. I still struggle with that. I still, for the most part, love humans. It's a love-hate relationship I have with humans. But, you know, I want to believe, I still have that thing in me that wants to believe that everyone's good, but it's the wrong way of thinking, guys. It's wrong. I had somebody comment on the channel the other day that you should go around thinking everyone's a demon until they prove otherwise. You know what? I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. And it's not a sad thing. It's the truth. It's a factual thing that you just need to make sure you're protecting yourself, which is something that codependent people are, you know, again, I'm going to use that word, but, you know, we talk about the behaviors of the aftermath of narcissistic abuse. This is some of the stuff that occurs. Another trait is, another thing that people are doing is they're talking too much, all right? Think before you speak, all right? A lot of times, the same kind of thing is going on of why they're doing it, but, you know, in a possibility, it's that they don't trust themselves. But there's a piece that a lot of codependent people do that is it's triangulation. It's unknowingly pitting people against each other. You know, in that piece of not thinking before they speak, just kind of coming out with whatever and then thinking about everything afterwards, or trying to go back on what they just said, like, oh, you know, so-and-so didn't mean it this way or that way, but it's already been said now, and it's too late at that point, you know. Again, I think the talking too much to others, it's still that form of I need to get other opinions here on something because I don't trust my own. And you know, again, guys, this is something I've been completely guilty of and recognizing that I've done, and I know why I've done it. It comes from this whole notion of not getting validated is the bottom line. So I think what I'm trying to say is you got to come to a place where you feel 100% confident about where it is you're coming from and why. I recognized this week, before I got Pete's email, there's so many things I really wanted to do and say. I was kind of put up with my back up against the wall. Now, I'm just going to share this. I don't tell family and friends I made the mistake of telling some friends about my channel. And it was a mistake. And you want to know why it was a mistake? Because these people that I'm thinking about, I know, number one, to no fault of their own, truly don't understand what's going on here with narcissism, and that's why I felt comfortable and confident when I started this channel, because none of my friends or family knew I started this channel. So I felt like I could be 100% myself, because I wasn't thinking about them watching the channel and what were they going to say and think and all of that. I've come a long way. I really don't care what any of them say or think. But here's where I become very defensive. And here's why. And again, I don't get into conversations with people that are ignorant to it because they've not been involved in this community. And this is my point. They're not day in and day out listening to people's situations, stories, pain, heartache. They're not taking notes and putting it into a database that they created so that they literally have facts to back up the things that they're saying on their YouTube channel. Okay? So let me toot my own horn for a second, yes, okay, and come to my own defense in saying, unless you can take your textbook, okay, that Sigmund Freud decided, you know, and scholars decided that Sigmund Freud is going to be your go-to for personality disorders. All right? I would welcome a debate with you. I would welcome it, because I will get out my database I've had for 2 years and go toe-to-toe with what I know about it. I'm happy I didn't go back to school. I'm pleased. That is one thing that a certain narc in my life was probably the only smart thing that they ever said to me about you know, government and school and all that. Now, education is very important, and for those of you that have it, you know, I went as far as my bachelor's, and then I started some graduate courses. I love to learn. This is not the point of what I'm trying to say, because I do love to learn. I'm constantly trying to learn. If anybody that knows me knows, every night I'm upstairs trying to find some new video to watch so that I can learn something new. I love it. Not all of us are going to take our life savings and go into thousands and thousands of dollars of debt to do it. So you know what I said to myself when I started this channel, and all of a sudden, the next thing you know, somebody asked me, what could I pay you to talk to you for an hour? And here I am. I said to myself, I'll do my own research. I'll gather my own research. I don't need to go to school for that. I don't need to go to school to be able to help people and know what it is I'm doing to be able to do that. By gathering research, by taking notes, by listening to people, by telling people what I know because I've experienced. You can't take away people's life experience. You can't do that. You can't take away their experience. All right, so for all those people out there that think that life coaches are garbage and things of that nature, yes, there were things said to me this week. Can't believe people pay her. I knew that people were saying that behind my back. Can't believe people pay her. And these are people that, you know, pretend to be supportive of me and what I'm doing. Don't pretend with me. Don't do that. You know, those few friends that I'm basically very sorry that I did give, you know, I did give the information about my channel to. I know I can just picture them when they're having a crap day because they can't stand themselves or their own life, because I know them too well. You know, they're the ones putting a thumbs down. The ones closest to you are giving your channel a thumbs down. You know, like closest to you, yeah. I know who my real friends are, and I know the people I can truly trust in my life right now. I do know that because they've proven it. But for others, you know, it's a lost cause to try and have a conversation about what narcissistic abuse is, and what this community is, and how you guys are more friends and family to me than my own friends and family. Many of them. So anyhow, when it comes to this whole idea of what has happened, you know, this whole dance of the narcissism and the enablers, you do have to look at yourself at some point, and you do have to ask yourself, you know, am I being toxic? Am I living through my ego? I had to ask myself this week when I found myself getting mad, and I said, no, you know what, Tracy? You're not. You're coming from facts. You're coming from your database. You're coming from the over 500 clients you've worked with. That's where you're coming from. All right? Where are you coming from? Your textbook from 20 years ago. Please. Give me a break. Seriously. I don't. It's enough for me to say something, and because I'm very, as you know, very, very passionate about this, because I don't want anybody to go through what I have been through in life. I don't want anybody to have to go through it. So I'm determined to get this information out there in any way, shape, or form, any way possible. So thank you to all of you for being supportive of me. Thank you so much, Pete. Thank you, God. Thank you, God, first and foremost. And thank you just again to all of you out there that truly understand what I'm talking about, that you understand it to the point where, do you know how afraid I was to come out and talk about demons? That takes a lot, guys. Takes a lot to tell the stories of the things I saw, the paranormal and supernatural things that I saw. That's not easy. But once I did it and walked out on that ledge, I couldn't believe the amount of people that came back and said, you're right. You're absolutely right. And I saw those things too. There's so much more, guys, that we don't know. We're not know-it-alls. None of us are perfect. No, we're not. But you know what? I know my own personal integrity and character. I know the times, and I do it every day. I have to look in the mirror and see where I need to change and things I need to work on. That's what this is all about. Figuring out what happened to you or is currently happening to you, figuring out what you can possibly do to make things better, to fix it, to be a better version of yourself than you were yesterday, and that's what it is all about. At the end of the day, it really is about your personal relationships that you've had with people and the way that you were able to help others out there that truly need it. That's what I think is the reason we're all here. That's my message today. I'm Trace Face. It's time we all face the truth together.